G'day guys and welcome back to the Iron Empire. This time we get stuck back into this thing. 69 AMC Javelin. Alright guys, so it's been a little while since I worked on the Javelin. I've been touching on it, but I haven't shown anything on the channel recently. But I did recently do a poll on my Instagram and see who wanted to see, actually it was on Instagram and Facebook, and even on the channel community section, to see who wanted to see what. And it was out of all my two-door cars, and an absolute landslide victory was to the VG Valiant hardtop. So naturally, I had to work on the VG. It had been far too long since I had worked on that car, and it has now been fixed. It is now on the road and driving. So there's a video on that, which I will link up the top here. But next up was the Javelin. That got a ton of interest as well. A lot of people wanting to see some progress on this car. If you haven't seen the videos already, I dragged this car and the 68 out of a backyard in Anglevale. They were already in the country, but I am looking at reviving the SST. In previous videos, I pulled the motor out, found out that was dead. And yeah, pretty much just having a good look around the car and seeing what's here. And yeah, beginning some of the work, body work, engine work, all sorts. So we're gonna start right now by what happened with this door. Next up guys, I've finished basically banging that panel out as good as I can do. I'm pretty happy with it. It's all pretty close. I'm probably going to end up with maybe not much more than a skim of filler. Pretty happy with how it's come out. If you are going over old primer or old paint, or realistically even over the metal, you always want to sort of scratch up the surface so it can key in, so the filler won't sort of bite really well to something super smooth. So I've gone over that panel now with like an 80 grit, really got in there, so it's got some nice deep sort of scratches to bite into. And I'm gonna go straight over that with some fiberglass filler. I'm gonna mix up some filler now, slap that on, and then depending on how good it comes up, we might give it a coat of paint before we piss off for the day. Fiberglass filler's all down now, and giving it a quick block back and then a quick buzz with some 80 grit so it's nice and keyed in. So now it's just on to fine filler to sort of get the shape and everything, but it's all sort of shaping up pretty good. So I'm going to lay some fine filler down now, or just some normal filler, and yeah, hopefully it goes off quick enough. Otherwise this can be another day job, but I just want to get a little bit of progress on that car. Now that dent's out, feeling much better about it. So I've got the panel in 2 coats of filler, and it's getting around the mark, but I'm going to give it a coat of primer before we piss off now, for 2 reasons. 1, I'm impatient and I want to see some progress, and 2, I'm not the best at body work. So if I give this a spot prime, I'm not going to prime the entire panel, I'm just going to give it a spot prime on the area that I've worked on, and it will help me sort of get an idea of the shape once I give it a guide coat and start blocking again. So that's just the method I'm going to run with. So get some primer on now and see how it's looking. Forgot to mention anything bare metal, which I've probably said before, people probably should know this. got to etch bare metal. So these little spots here, they need a little bit of a dust coat really. That's pretty much it for the etch. Now we can go with the high fill. Alright, that is all done. Smashed on as much primer as the panel would hold without running off. So that's going to be it for today. Quick little session, a few hours, smash out a panel, and yeah, we'll try and keep this thing moving because I'm super keen to see this thing in one colour and without any dents and without a mush front end. We'll see you in a few days. Alright, so over here at the AMC Javelin at this stage, and it looks like that was already a pre-anticipated move because that guard was only held on by some wire. Didn't take much to get that off. So basically the plan now is I'm going to start working on this front end here, trying to get it straight. So I'm going to start by unpicking, well, unbolting all the sort of add-ons in the front here, unpicking a bit of this rad support panel area, and then basically seeing where we're at with the damage in the front. Obviously, there's a bit of damage pushed through into here, but I don't think it's gone into the chassis rail or anywhere too structural, but we don't know just yet. So unpick a little bit, start pulling on it and see if we get some movement, and yeah, assess from there, see where we can go. Hay fever sucks. All right, guys, we got some movement in the front end here, but not really enough. There's probably a bit too much give in the suspension and in that rope there to sort of give it a real good hard tug. I really sort of need a chain or something. But anyway, I'll show you what we have got sorted, and you'll see a little bit of progress of what we've been doing. Okay, so behind me you'll see the quarter in there is obviously quite crumpled up, and I've started to mark out where the actual style lines should be. I use the butterscotch car to replicate and see how it should be, so that I've made some dotted lines, so at least I've got something to follow, because it's really quite hard to sort of work out what's meant to be what. And yeah, I've sort of started knocking some stuff around. I've started using the slide hammer a little bit, and I have got a little bit of joy with that, but that's really only sort of shaping up that panel, and it's not really, I don't think, going to make much difference pulling out the panel sort of right up to the front cowl. So I'll keep chipping away with this anyway, and at least it might, yeah, once the metal starts getting back to the shape it should be, it should help at least sort of relieve a bit of stress. But ultimately I think I still need to be pulling the front end, so I'm going to attack that some other time once I've got a bit more of a plan up my sleeve. But for now, that's the method for the front quarter here, and it's at least looking a little bit better. But I do have some progress. It happened the other day. You gotta check this out. As you can see, ended up going with yet another yellow, but this is super bright. It's actually a little bit of a nicer yellow. We picked this color, absolutely stoked with it. It is in your face, in the sun. It is like, you can't even look at the bloody thing. But we had to use a white base coat. So basically that meant prepping the boot up, doing a little bit of body work. I've done a little rust repair in the corner, but very little. Gave it a good couple of primes, blocked it all nice and smooth. Overall, it's about 99%, it's pretty good. And then it's basically white base coat, and then basically 3 coats of yellow to give it that real nice high impact color. So without the white base, it would be basically a total different color. So as you can see, it's come out really nice. I'm stoked. We've done a bit of a number in the booth, gave that a clean up, and I was really fussy to make sure there was no dust. And so far, absolutely stoked with the outcome of this boot. But that's just a little bit of inspiration to keep me motivated on this bloody pile. Okay, while I've got you real quickly, guys, don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Also, with Christmas time just around the corner, consider checking out the online store for those Christmas gifts. Postage times have been painfully slow since COVID has hit, so please prepare early. I have been putting a lot of money in, and I will continue to do so over the next couple of weeks, of building up my online store and adding more merch. So check out that if anything suits you, and keep an eye in the next couple of weeks for new stock coming in. Yeah, let's get stuck back into the video. Cheers. Guys, back down the shop today, and we are going to continue on with this front end repair while I've got a couple of hours spare before the weekend. I've come up with a method of pulling the front end of that out, but that does involve a quick trip down to Bunnings. While we do that, we're going to go grab some lunch. Jake and I are going to go for a spin in his new VE that he's been working on. Crack a day for a cruise. Okay, so we are now back from our little cruise, and we've got some supplies. So we've been to Bunnings, and the setup here is similar to the first one. We're going to pull on this post. We're going to try this first, just using the inertia of the car. Failing that, we're going to bring in the big rig. But for now, I've got this heavy duty plate here. It's like a 6mm plate, and I've gone through this box section, and I've added an eyelet up the top there. Now this car's copped a hit, and it has pushed this firewall back between 10 to 20 mils on this side only, and this is where the forces come through, push through. We're going to give this some good hard yanks here. It's going to pull this whole section forward, and fingers crossed we get some movement. Hey guys, so after pulling and pushing and hammering and smacking around for the last couple of hours, we've got this thing pretty damn close. There's still plenty to do, don't get me wrong, but all of the panels now are within a few millimeters of where they need to be. We adjusted the door up. We've got this guard reasonably close. We've used the bonnet off the other Javelin because it's nice and straight, and we use some unconventional methods, but we're getting very, very close. I'm really happy with the progress that's been made on the Javelin this week. I'm going to continue on with this build because I'm super keen to see it all in one color. So yeah, that's going to be it for this time round. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave me a comment, check out the online store, and I will see you all on an upcoming episode of The Iron Empire. Cheers, guys.